What is up, YouTube? It's the Uncouth Truth, and I got another boring yet informative video for you today. If you clicked on this video, there's a good chance that you're in the market for a new Turkenelli or Benelli M4 clone, or perhaps you've already purchased one. In either case, this is probably going to be a video that you're going to want to pay attention to the end. So, what do I have to discuss? Well, first and foremost, let's go ahead and get some things out of the way that I see a lot of people asking. Are you getting 95% of the Benelli for a $500 price tag? The answer is no. No, you are not. The reality is, the old saying is very much true. If it looks too good to be true, chances are it probably is. Now, with a little bit of luck, maybe a little bit of added QC on your part, and maybe some upgraded OEM parts from Benelli, you can actually get this gun to run like an absolute machine. That wasn't the case whenever I first got this. Now, I have known about a certain problem before I even purchased this that I'm going to discuss, and as it happened to me. Now, I did make a couple of mistakes, which I'm going to discuss with you, and hopefully you can avoid. So, what problem am I talking about? Well, for starters, I don't particularly care if there's scuff marks on the rail or anything like that. None of that really bothers me. The only thing the reason that I bought this was basically to beat the living hell out of it. In order to do that, I needed to have something that has a rock solid firing system in it. Now, the Benelli operates off what's called the Argos piston system. And basically, you got two piston rods in here with two holes that open up into the chamber here. And whenever the gun goes off, it expands those piston rods. They slam into the face of your bolt carrier, more or less. It's called bolt carrier or bolt body is what it's called in the manual. But in any case, it's a bolt carrier. So it shoves that right back in here, and then it cycles around. Simple enough. Now, what is the issue with these? I suspect that there's two of them. An issue with milling probably being the biggest problem, the milling of the actual bolt carrier body. And the other is probably going to be an issue with heat treatment of some of the steel. I'm not entirely convinced. I ran my file across it to check, and it does seem strong, but I'm not sure exactly how well they heat treated these things. So now, whenever you're at the FFL, and this is the most important thing, if you did purchase one of these and it's on its way to you, maybe you're having a little buyer's remorse and you're all of a sudden doing as much research as you can to verify whether or not you made a good decision. Whenever it hits your FFL, make sure to check this one particular part. Now, whenever you disassemble the gun, and I'm going to show you pictures of what it is that I'm talking about because I documented everything after I brought this thing home, which was too little too late. Should have done it at the FFL and just refused the transfer. So what am I talking about? Well, let's go ahead and unscrew this and disassemble it real quick so you can see what I mean. Now, sorry. Let's go ahead and pull the hand guard off. And first thing you're gonna do, come on. You're gonna remove the barrel off, and the first thing you're gonna check for is these right here are the back ends of the piston rods, okay? You're gonna wanna check for any kind of peening going on right there. So what does that look like? Well, this is the peening that was going on mine. Right, that's a photo that I took of it, and it was actually only on one rod, and it was the closest, not to the ejection side, but the other side of it, of the receiver. And also, you're going to want to go ahead and remove the bolt by just yanking out the charging handle. Now, whenever these are brand new, you may actually need a pair of pliers to yank that fucker out because the specs aren't exactly that great on these, but it will come out, I promise. Now, this is the bolt, and right here on the bottom of the face you can see those two portions where the pistons are striking it. Now, these clones, what they do is they do test fire them with I think slugs and bucks and whatnot like that, so you're going to notice that there's going to be some carbon on there. But what you're really looking for is to see if there's any peening right here, because what's happening is if that piston rod is striking this at an off angle and it's not hitting it square, what it's going to do is it's going to shove it basically right in between your receiver and right in between your bolt body. And as you keep cycling rounds through it, sooner or later, that thing is going to seize up on you. That's an absolute fact. How long that may take, well, I would imagine that probably depends on the load. So for you guys who have already purchased one, maybe you've only taken it out on 1 or 2 outings, you need to disassemble your gun and make sure to check that. And if you do see peening on either one of these, and let me go ahead and show you exactly what it looks like on here, because this was the peen on mine. Now the top on the photo with less peening, that's actually came right out of the box, and I looked at it and I was like, there's no way that is in spec. But on the bottom photo, after running 25 buckshot through it, it was pretty clear that there was some severe peen going on. And basically, you're sitting on a ticking time bomb, and sooner or later it is going to seize up in your receiver, and you're going to have to send it back. Now, whenever you're going through the gun, assuming that there is no issues going on with the actual piston rod system, there was some other things that you're going to need to check. For starters, whenever I got this, I had to remove these, and basically these just screw in and pull out, both of these, and you run the piston rods out through the top. But the piston rods were covered in some sort of weird gunk. I don't even know what the hell it was. It almost looked like something out of a hot glue gun, is the best way I could describe it. I wish I had taken pictures of that. Wasn't really a big deal because basically it just brushed off, and these things shined up real nice. But that's also something that you're gonna want to check, because I don't know what the hell they were doing over there in Turkey, but good Lord, how do you get hot glue in one of the freaking piston chambers? Outside of that, I mean, the replacement bolt that they sent me actually looks really good. The first one that they sent, I noticed it was just sloppy all around. Even the tail of the carrier here looked like it had been it had been staked with a battle axe or something like that. Jesus Christ! But in any case, as long as, I mean, if you're good with some machining marks on your ghost ring sights and stuff like that, and a lot of little stupid stuff, you don't particularly care if the gun's pretty. As long as the Argo system is working correctly, then you know what, you may want to take a gamble on this gun. But just be warned that whenever it comes in, whether it's a Panzer, whether it's a Tauros, or whatever the brand may be, that is most definitely an ongoing problem with all of them. And if you do have that, if your company is refusing to fix it, the only other option that you really have is to replace it with an OEM bolt. There is very few websites that do sell those. There is one that I saw that does sell them, and they run about $250 for the bolt. But if you're going to be replacing the bolt, you're also going to be replacing both of the piston rods. And when you start dumping, $500 into an already $500 gun, then you're almost upside down in your gun, because at that point you could have spent $1,000 on like a Beretta 1301 or something that's a little bit better quality, right? So it doesn't make any sense to be dumping that additional money into it. So just make sure that that part is working correctly, and if it is, then you can always change out little things like the extractor and whatnot. That's really not a big deal. I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with the extractor that I have. In any case, I wanted to bring you that information. So just to recap, if you do have one or you're buying one, make sure to check that first before you either take it in from the from the FFL, or if you already have purchased it, make sure you go ahead and start an RMA ticket through whoever you bought it for, to have that replaced, because it will fail on you 100%. Anyway, if you all have any other questions as far as my experience about it, by all means let me know in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to discuss it with you. So thanks for watching.